I hope you all can see my screen. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Pyry Grönholm from Prosys OPC, and now when it's our 10-year anniversary of our Valio project, I thought that it might be a nice thing to a little bit recap the project and what we have learned along the years. And the project is of course about how to integrate the MES system to the automation with OPC UA. But let's first start a little bit with the introduction of Prosys OPC and myself. So Prosys OPC, we have had our own OPC UA products and software technology since 2010. At the moment, we have more than 300 customers in more than 47 countries that license our technology. And Valio was actually our second OPC UA service customer, like a project customer. And about me, so I am Chief Operating Officer right now at the Prosys OPC, and been head of the Valio OPC project since 2014. The latest years, honestly, the technical lead has took most of my responsibilities there. My background is from is that I used to be software developer, and now we are going a little bit back in the history to 2010 when we started with Valio, but honestly, the topic itself was not that new even on that point. So already 1998, so 22 years ago, we already collected data from machines to IT systems and did OE reporting. A little bit about Valio. Valio is the brand leader and the biggest dairy business in Finland. Every Finn, of course, knows Valio and their products. A little bit about the complexity of the MES system that they have. It's good to understand that they have more than 1,000 products that they produce. And at Valio employees, 4,000 professional or at the moment around, and this it actually means in Finland that it's pretty big company, but of course globally not that one, but in Finnish scope quite big one. Then about the case itself, so I think this is a little bit will be like a story of two early adopters of OPC UA. We were the early adopter developers, and Valio was definitely an early adopter end user. So in 2010, Valio made kind of a decision that they would replace their plugins from MES to production with one plugin that would use OPC UA. That the reason for this was, of course, that maintaining several dozen plugins were quite a heavy job, and they were constantly failing because of changes in the factory floor and with the different versions of the software on PLCs or machines and so on. Well, it was quite a bold decision, honestly, on that time. But the decision was made, and we were hired for this project, and we actually finished the first factory 2010, and after that, starting from 2011, we started to take OPC in use on every production facility one by one. The the project, each factory was kind of a project of its own because the automation installation base was very heterogeneous. So even the automation systems were not the same. So there are Siemens, there are Valmet, and there are Honeywell automation systems. Probably might be something that I don't remember right now, and not all factories are running anymore either. Also, in addition to the automation systems, we needed to connect to PLCs, to the building automation, history databases, and several other systems. But pretty fast, actually, already after the first factory, we realized that, okay, now the OPC UA opened a possibility that it's easier to bring data from automation to other systems than MES as well. So actually, right away, it opened up like new possibilities for new IT systems to start using production data for different kind of purposes. Quite fast, this was, for example, adapted for the OEE reporting. Also, I think it's quite nice to a little bit like take a look of the situation of OPC UA software 2010. So when we started, it was, of course, so that none of the data sources on the factories or Valio factories has anything that would have natively supported OPC UA. So everything had to be converted some way to OPC UA. In the big picture, of course, was that OPC Foundation had released and were maintaining these low-level stack implementations. There were some SDKs, but when we started this, we evaluated those, and eventually, I don't really anymore recall the reasons, but the only one that met our requirements were the .NET SDK, like the .NET Standard SDK from OPC Foundation. So there were some gateway products, but most of them were quite expensive ones, and even the expensive ones were not really reliable enough when we started to test them in the production tests. So eventually, in the first factory, we used UA Gateway from Unified Automation, and everything else what were needed to do, we did with like custom code with OPC Foundation SDK. Like honestly, it was, like I said, it was quite bold decision from Valio to start using OPC UA. The technology was quite unproven at that point, but we still actually succeed very well, at least like considering the like when I look back and think about the situation and what we had, what was the technology at that point. So I'm quite proud of that, and I think there was a few good kind of like cornerstones that like enabled the success, and I will go those through. And these were such that we actually figured them out like extremely fast in the beginning of the first project, and after that, like we were able to like work more easy way in the further factories. So one extremely important cornerstone was to use aggregating OPC UA server between office and automation network. This first of all enabled us like fast way or fast and efficient way to monitor all OPC UA connections that we had from this aggregating server to the automation systems or the factory floor. And because in the beginning, yes, we had breaks time to time, but because we were able to act fast and fix those fast, the project were anyway going on, and the end customer didn't feel that this was like a bad choice. It also speed up the commissioning a lot because the firewall setups were very easy. You only needed to open up the firewalls to this aggregating server, and this way, we kind of were able to create quite fast processes with the other, like the IT vendor of the Valio, how to commission new data sources like efficient way. And of course, like then it enabled other systems to connect the factory floor data as well. And bottom line, actually the reason why we took in this kind of architecture in the beginning to use was the security. So the idea was like, and here you can see in the middle this aggregating OPC UA server. So the idea was that even if the security is not supported by some OPC UA server at the automation network, we could still have security enabled on the office network, and also we could like do quite good or access control who is allowed to access the OPC UA server like secure way. That's actually still a little bit a problem. Like if I look right now, that when you have like a factory floor like OPC UA servers, not all of them actually support security. So in that sense, I still would almost success this kind of setup when creating like factory installations of OPC UA. Some other practices, yes, well, the OPC classic servers, they were rather unreliable, unfortunately. So if there was another solution to convert like more native way to OPC UA, that we tend to start use those as soon as products were coming to the market. Third thing, we quite fast we're able to provide new value for the customer by creating business logic on the edge level, so that instead of like creating like DC or automation system or PLC like code for all kind of like text file read-ins and such, we did this on the edge level and program it with high level programming languages that of course had nice libraries and everything available, and then just used OPC UA to communicate with the automation systems and PLCs. So there is two examples: the message generator, which is that the MES system is message based, but instead of generating those messages on the automation system level, we monitor tags, and based on triggering tags, we read other tags and then gather the message on the edge level and then push it on the MES. Other example is the receipt connector that takes in like recipes in XML format and then writes the set point values to automation like using OPC UA. Then I go to some things that didn't go that well, that I kind of have like some bad memories and hope that no one else will end up doing the same mistakes. So first of all, like I have really started to value commercial support. So it's extremely not nice when you are having like a component that is getting stuck every second week, typically in middle of night, and you won't get any support to fix the problem, and you're pretty much on your own or trying to find some help on the forums, let's say. This is when you are in the 24/7 environment, it escalates pretty fast. And the other thing is that, like, actually, yes, most of the data sources we had in the beginning were OPC EA classic servers, but when you try to collect track and trace data, you need to get all the data, and eventually there will be some problems with the network or hardware or something, and then the connection is broken for a while, and of course you will lose that part of the data. And in Valio case, typically these then are somehow entered manually afterwards. Quite huge effort, but still doable. You don't need to like trash the products, but still. So if possible, to use something else. If the data source has some history buffer, try to use that instead. If it doesn't have place like a data buffering software in the same computer as the OPC DA server, whether it's classic or UA, and so that it's like it's most likely like the whole, or if the machine goes down, of course, then there is nothing to do about network problems or failures in components like outside that computer won't affect, and you can ask the data afterwards for the track and trace. Then a few more things. Unfortunately, even from the reputable automation vendors, they can tell that they have this nice system and that you can use this API. Well, test it before actually taking that into use in the plant floor. Unfortunately, they are not all that good, especially if the systems are old. And once taken in use and in the production, it gets typically much more harder to replace the system with something else. And last thing is that, yeah, you can do with OPC UA almost everything. If you guys go and to check our blog, for example, in our Prosys OPC site, you will see, like, along the years, many quite fancy things that we have made with OPC UA, but yes, when the use case is definitely such that it's not that clearly meant for OPC UA in this kind of 24/7 environment, I suggest to use the kind of like more natural solutions. Like, it's pretty nice to embed OPC UA to inside the Oracle database or do like a two-way file transfer with OPC UA, but sometimes like there are better options available eventually, and it takes quite a much effort and money to take these things actually in reliable use. If we take a look at the Valio today, so we started with one factory.
You're running over time.
This is last slide. I will be fast. So, well, they have now 12 factories. more than 20 data sources. 2 of the factories are actually Greenfield, kind of made for OPC UA from the beginning. 10 are Brownfield, so converted to OPC UA. The OPC is pretty reliable. There are more systems than MES, like OE and advanced process control and so on, that are using the same OPC UA channel. And also now it's leveraged to building automation. And the last thing is that now we are seeing first machines that actually support OPC UA component specifications. And that's actually something I would encourage every machine vendor to do. Okay, but that's all. Thank you, and sorry for going over